it's not yeah, following my rules. So I know we've had some easy weeks with sci-fi the last 2 weeks. Really rustig, really calm. But I believe that this week is probably going to be a really great one. It's Wednesday today. Tomorrow is Thursday. So the best days of the week to trade sci-fi. Is it the clear W? I don't think it is. Well, I understand what you're saying. Um, it's more like a zebra pot, right? More like a crosswalk. But in the past with GBP CHF and GBP CAD, we've seen these patterns play out a lot of times. Even though I don't really like them that much, they play out a lot of times, but I did not take the trade anyway. CPI today. Let me have a look at the news. If you have any questions, by the way, guys, please drop it in the chat because I'm only going to go over the 30-minute plays for today. I'm gonna leave the lower minute time frames for another day, for another week maybe, because Jens is now focusing on the boot camp for the newest people. How I believe he's going to do the part two after my part over here, so I'm not gonna be talking too much. Um, but we have news today. Let me have a check. Euro news, GBP. I don't see CPI, Ashwin. With PMI, retail sales volume, that's a important one. Unemployment change and PMI. Unemployment change can be a big one as well. We do not have CPI, but we do have unemployment claims. And we have FOMC at the end of the week. That's a good one as well. Okay, so basically that was it for me already, guys, because we didn't have many plays. Uh, If do you guys have any more questions? If everything is clear, drop a one, and if you have a question, drop a question. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Then I'm gonna give the word to Jens already because he's probably gonna need his time. Shout out to you, Jens. Um, you've been trading with us for the last 5 years, and like I say every single morning, always present on the calls. I think it was like I still got messages from you at 2 o'clock last night. So I woke up and I was like, "What is this guy doing?" You did like two events as well yesterday, so really insane to see the work ethic that you have and really inspiring um, for myself as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna leave the word to you and go ahead, man.
All right, all right, all right. Amazing. Thank you for opening up the call and put a 111 in the chat for Maxime to show some appreciation for him always opening up these calls. You know, um, it's easy to say like, hey, every day we do a call at 7:45. Then it's one thing to hop on the call and be sleepy and just, follow. But then it's a whole other thing to open up that call and start speaking to 100 people, right? So appreciate you, Maxime, for doing that every single day with us. And yeah, let's dive straight into it. Of course, this is recorded for two reasons. Because we know not everyone can make it at this time, but also because we're doing a live boot camp, right? This week we have pre-recorded boot camp already with examples and stuff like that. Now we're gonna do live examples this week when we have the place that we are looking for. I think Maxime said it perfectly. I don't think it's all on the recording, so I'll briefly repeat. But we have GBP and yeah, if you look at this, the pullback is not the full 2 days, right? Oh, it's kicking me out. Give me a second. So the pullback was like a day and a half instead of 2 days. And the reversal pattern was more of a crosswalk, which we don't really like to see. So as we can see, this is 1 day and 2 hours of pullback. It's a pretty significant pullback though. We sweep some lows. So for those that know market structure, we sweep below these lows and all that stuff. It's amazing to see. But yeah, that's not the A plus setup that we're looking for. If you then look at this run right here, that's not the A plus W we are looking for. Nonetheless, probably some of you still took it, right? Probably some of you still did. If you did, you're already at target 1, which is a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Then you're at break even. And then your target 2 would be about that previous high, because that's a 1-to-2 risk to reward, right? And that's actually what we're going to go deeper into today. Now, by all means, we're not adding this trade to the track record, because this is not a plus valid trade that we would say, hey, I'm taking this every day, you know? So let's dive straight in. First of all, what is SciFi? That's something I want to go deeper into today. I want to go over the 3-step simple system. I want to go over how to manage your trade and the objective trading system. So that's a lot, but we'll probably be able to cover that in the next 30 minutes. Okay, so first of all, what is SciFi? SciFi is, of course, an algorithm, right? And this algorithm, what does it do for us? It does a few things. As you can see, it colors the background, right? That's what we can see. It gives us an alert panel, and it will give us notifications. And when do these notifications pop up? When we have a dark shade or a light shade arrow. All right. So that's basically what SciFi does. So we're mainly trading in on a 30-minute, but recently we can also now trade it on the 5-minute and the 50-minute. Now the strategy is designed to be traded on the 30-minute. On the 30-minute time frame, we mainly focus on Forex. I know some of you trade gold, nat gas, oil. Some of you even trade crypto with it, or indices. I know indices work very well. Commodities work very well. Crypto, I don't really know about that. And exotics is something I stay away from because of the spreads that it brings with it. So I'm not really gonna trade the Euro ZAR and the AUD NOK and the crazy stuff, right? So that's basically what SciFi is. Okay. Something that's important is when you have SciFi here, is that you go to the settings tab at the top. The settings tab at the top will give you the option to put on your alerts. Okay. You can put on the alerts for the light shade arrows. That's the first thing that pops up. So a lot of people go to the settings tab, they see, oh, yeah, let's click Forex and let's do this 30-minute time frame. But they forget that it's still on the light shade arrow page. So you want to click on that dark shade arrow page, because we are looking for the dark shade arrows, right? And then of course, you have my alert, you want to have that on. So all these alerts should be on so that you can, that you can just do your thing, and that you can get these alerts on the phone with the app of Yovia. Okay, now I'm gonna open SciFi up again. That's the first thing that's important. The second thing is knowing what the strategy actually is about. So the strategy is about the continuation of the 4-hour trend, meaning SciFi will determine the trend that we're trading, and it will color the background accordingly. So GBP CHF, for example, is in a 4-hour uptrend. We can put this time frame on the 4-hour. And you see, we have been uptrending on the 4-hour. Now, of course, SciFi has its confirmations and indicators that it looks at to make sure that we are in an uptrend. As long as that is the case, we will, the color will background the background will color. Okay. So this way, we don't have to go and look at 20, 30 pairs every single week and go determine the trend for ourselves. Sci-Fi is doing that for us already. Now, of course, an uptrend looks like this, right? I think everyone knows that. Most uptrends. Oh, wait. Am I even sharing my screen? Give me a sec. Put a tweet in chat if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, cool. The green line thing was not around it. Anyway. So if we're in an uptrend, where do you want to buy? Do we want to buy here? Put a yes or no in the chat. Do you want to buy right here? No, probably not. Do you want to buy down here? Yes. Cool. Do you want to buy down here? Yes. That's what we're looking for, right? Every trend trader is basically looking for the lows before it goes up, or looking for the highs before it goes down. That's what we do as trend continuation traders. Now, how do we know when we are at this point? Now you can see it, but you never know beforehand, right? So what's very important is to know, I'm gonna put this away for a second. So let's say this is what we have. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. How do we know that this is the point where it will reverse back to the upside? We have a few confirmations for that. And that's our three-step system, okay? So the three-step simple system, and this is definitely something to write down, three-step simple system, is basically to identify an entry point. And the first step is the dark shade arrow. Okay, we have dark shades, we have light shades on Sci-Fi. The dark shades are fewer arrows, so you don't have that many arrows of dark shades, but they are more accurate. The light shades, you have way more, but they're less accurate. We like to go with less is more. We like to go with less plays, more accurate. Okay, now the second step is a 2-day pullback. What does this mean? This means that if we want to buy the market down here, we're going to identify, or we saw based on the statistics, that just before this buy, what happened? Was the market going up or going down? Just before that zone. Just put up or down in the chat. The market was going down, as you can see. So this down movement is what we call a 2-day pullback. Based on statistics, we saw that on average, it will pull back for about 2 days, and then a lot of the times it reverses. Does this mean that every time the market pulls back for 2 days that we're just randomly pressing buy? No. We have a third confirmation, and this is our reversal pattern, all right? And our reversal pattern is what we call M or W, okay? Because let's say we zoom in. This is the 4-hour time frame, right? You all know that. I'm gonna 4-hour time frame. And of course, I'll put that below. If you zoom into a 4-hour time frame, and I'm gonna zoom into this 2-day pullback, what is that gonna look like? That's gonna look like on the 30 minutes, something like this. Right? That's what it's gonna look like. Right here, you just see a straight line, but if you zoom into that, then you'll have lower lows, lower highs. Okay, so that's important to an important way to identify which direction are we going. Is these lows, are they getting lower and lower and lower, or are they getting higher? Same for the highs. Are the highs getting lower and lower and lower, or are they going up? And that's what we look for, is we actually look for this pattern right here. So what do you see? What makes a difference? If anyone knows you can drop it in the chat. I'm gonna see if I can find that. It's this one, I think. Yeah, that's a handy tool. Meanwhile, we wait for your responses in the chat. I'm just gonna modify some of this stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah, a higher low and potentially a break of structure. That's also cool. But if you look at these lows, right, they get lower and lower and lower. Right here, right here, right here. And at a certain point, what do we see? We see a change in that pattern. We see a higher low. And this is what we like to call our W. Okay. That's the pattern that we're looking for. Important factor is that we have this low higher than this one, right? That's an important factor when it comes down to that W. Now, an extra confirmation, but this is not a must have thing, is when you break this high right here, meaning you have a high, oh, right? First, I thought this would be a handy thing, but it's not really, to be fairly honest. So we have a high, a lower high, another lower high. Whoa, what happens? Okay. Another lower high. And then at a certain point, it breaks higher. Now we have a higher high. Right? Now, this is not a must thing. The higher low is. Okay? So that's important to know. The higher low is a must. The higher high, the break of structure, that can be a powerful confirmation. But if we don't have it, and if the market is still here, and it's a significant low, then we're good. Okay? And then, of course, we have the arrow, and then we enter the trade. Now, is that clear? This gives you more of an idea what SciFi is, why we, trade the 4-hour continuation. We have the 30-minute time frame that we do our analysis on, and you will see when you zoom into this bigger time frame, and you drop down to the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute time frame. Here we go. Right? So just to give that full picture, you have a 4-hour. You zoom into this one right here. This one takes about 2 days because that's our 2-day pullback that we were talking about. And then that's what we look for. Now, what are we going to do is we're going to go enter the trade when we have the arrow, right? The stop loss is going to go below the low. And our first target will be a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So 1-to-1 risk to reward, that's right here. Okay. Our second target is a 1-to-2 risk to reward, which is right there. On that first target, what do we do? Anyone knows? Target 1. We go break even. Going break even. What does it mean? It means that you're actually, protecting your trade even more. Protecting your trade is important. Trading is not about making the most amount of money. It's about capital, protecting your capital, right? It's about protecting what you already have. Because every day that you can participate in the markets and protect your capital the good way, so don't not lose, is a winning day. So even if you hit your break even, it's a winning day. Okay. So let's say your stop loss is about 1 to 3% in risk. Okay. You never want to risk more than 1 to 3% on a trade. Let's say you do 2%. So now I know when I enter this trade, worst case is that this market drops down it hits my stop loss, and I am out. That's an automatic order that you put into your trading account. So now, if that happens, I hit my stop loss, I'm out, I have a loss of 2%. Now, when we move, I'm going to delete this line just, to not be confusing. When we move our stop loss, and we do this manually, when we move that to the entry point, meaning the market already shot up all the way here, what's going to happen if it drops down again? What's going to happen? If we do this, and then it comes out. We have no loss, exactly. So there is no loss that you have right here. You have zero loss, zero profit, which is good. Okay. So that's basically how to enter a trade and how to manage your trade. I'm just putting an alert at this zone on my trading view or on SciFi, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you know when we are at target 1. And then when that's the case, you just go to your trading account and you put your stop loss right here. Okay. Then, of course, ideally, the trade just keeps running and it hits your take profit 2. Take profit 2 is where you take full profit and where you just get out the trade. Now, how much profit are we going to make on this TP? You can put it in the chat. How much profit are we going to make? So target 2 will not be go break even. Target 2 will be 4% profit, right? So that's great because now you only risked 2%, right? 0%. Gonna do that to make it, right? So now we risked only 2% when the stop loss was still here. By the time we were at target 2, we moved our stop loss already, so there was no risk, but we still have the potential 4% reward. And that's basically what we want to do. So how does this look in, the practical side? That's what I just showed right here on GBP CHF, for example. When you have GBP CHF, this was your entry, right? Very important. Very, very important to know. The arrow is only valid when the candle of the arrow closes. So this candle right here, that I put the line on, when this candle closes, that's where you enter. So it's at the opening of the next candle. That's where your entry will be, okay? So that's right here. If you have a bullish candle, right, the blue one starts at the bottom, closes at the top, because that's the one that went up. So then your entry will be right here. Cool. Your stop loss will be below the low. And then your take profit, your first target 1 will be right here. So that's why I previously mentioned, like, hey, your stop loss should already be at break even. Cool. And then for those that are holding on, you can hold on all the way up till here. The 1 to 2 risk to reward. Cool. Now, one thing that's important that I didn't mention yet is you want to leave some breathing room with your stop loss. So when you place your stop loss, you want to put your stop loss a little further than the low. And how much is a little further? You want to look at your spread on your broker and you want to do that times 3. Okay? So you just take your spread times 3 and you put that below. So let's say our spread says 8. If our spread is 8, that's 8 pipettes or 0.8 pips, whatever it may be. But 8 times 3 is 24, right? There you go. It's pretty early in the morning, so my math will not be mathing, but I think I got it right. Here we go. Yeah. So my stop loss will be here instead of here. Okay? Does that make sense? If your spread is 12, and you do that times 3, then you got 36, right? So depending on the spread of your broker, you will have more breathing room that you need right here. The spread will also vary, so it can be a little bigger, a little smaller. That's why we do times 3, not just once. Okay, now let's look at an example of last week. If we look at an example, last week we had Euro GBP. So what do we see? We had 2 arrows, okay? And this is a good example, so pay attention because we have one arrow that's not valid and another one that is. So pay close attention here. We got notified. This is the first arrow. This was the arrow at 7 in the morning. So this arrow was called, or this entry was good at 7:30. Cool. What do? We look back and we're gonna look at our three-step simple system. Dark shade arrow, 2-day pullback, M or W, right? So the first step, dark shade arrow, check. We got that. Second step, 2-day pullback. This is a movement where we are looking to sell. So the pullback is in the opposite direction, so that is an up move, right? Because the background is red, SciFi identified a downtrend for us. So potential for the market to drop down. So if you look at this, right, you can see a 4-day pullback right here. Now, this is not the 4-day pullback in reality. This is a 2-day pullback in 13 hours. Why? We have the weekend in between. Okay, so a tip to avoid confusion is you want to look at the bars. The bars will be a count of all the candles, you know, and as you can see, this is 122 bars. Anyone knows if you're trading the 30-minute time frame, for those that are good at math, how many of these bars are going to be in 2 days? Yeah, 96. Exactly. If you have 48 hours, right? 48 hours of price action, then every 30-minute bar within these 48 hours, if you count those up, that will be 96. So that's another thing you can look at. This is more than 96, so our 2-day pullback is valid. Amazing. But then, do we see an M just before this arrow? Not really. We just see this. Okay, so that's not a valid trade. Now, if you then look a little later, we have this arrow. Okay, so the first step is done. So that's good because we have the dark shade. The 2-day pullback, that hasn't changed. That's still the same. Now we're just looking, do we have the M right now that we are looking for? And in this case, as you can see, you have a clear M. Now, as we discussed on the call, most of the times the arrow is going to pop right on this candle, on the last candle of that, or even on this one, right? Most of the times it's going to pop on the last candle of that M. In this case, that was not that's not what happened. I think that's the first time in or the second time in 6 months that we see it spike up and then give the arrow. But that's okay. That doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect our trading behavior. So this is where you go in, right? Not right here, not right there. You go in the candle next to it where the candle opens. This is a red candle, so the top is where it opens. We put our stop loss above the high, and then we'll determine our targets. First target, target 1. Right here. Let me just do this. Target 1, go break even. And then we have target 2. Okay. And this is an example of a trade that we took last week. Cool. As you can see, the market dropped down a little more, to say the least. it dropped down a lot more, almost all the way down to 1 to 5. But we don't need that, okay? I always say that's not my pips, right? Why? Is because if you look at the track record, and y'all can see the track record, it's an open thingy. There's no secrets in that. Let me see. So when you go to innovatorsclub.io/sci-fi, you'll see the ebook. When you open up the ebook, you can go back. It's a lot of trades in there, so it takes a while to load. I don't think Notion is used to having that many data in there. The ebook is something handy. We talked about that yesterday, that you can dive deeper into. But that's some of the resources. Now, if you look at the track record, right, with the 1 to 2 risk to rewards, this is what we've been able to do over the last few months. Okay, so about 83.54% accuracy, 66 wins, 13 losses. And that created, with a start of 1,000 euros, we made 1,800 euros in profit. Okay. So, of course, those are powerful numbers. And that's not to brag, that's just to show what's possible following these exact rules. These are the trades we took. It's about 80 trades. And this is how our account balance grew over time, now up to 2.8, 2.7K. Okay. And this is just in like 3-4 months. So imagine doing this for multiple years, what this can bring. Okay. And of course, that's a powerful thing to do. The Euro GBP trade is in right here. You can look at all that data. We have pictures in there and an explanation of what we did and why we did what we did. Okay. Now, that being said, I'm going to transfer to the last thing. Is everything clear? So we talked about what is sci-fi. That's our algorithm that helps us and saves us a lot of time. Like before sci-fi, I traded 4 or 5 hours a day. Now I trade not even 4 or 5 hours a week, and I'm making more money than I did before. So sci-fi bought me my time back. Let's say that like that. It determines the trends for us. It notifies us when to look, and it's super, super accurate. Now, so we talked about what is sci-fi. We talked about the 3-step simple system. We talked about the trade management. Oh, I forgot one thing. Sometimes it's good to recap. I forgot one thing. What is the thing I forgot? Y'all should know. News, exactly. So another rule that's very, very important, muy importante. This is don't enter a trade 1 hour before red folder news. Okay. So if you have red folder news on Euro or on GBP, I'm not trading Euro GBP. Okay. If we have red folder news on Canadian or JPY or the Mexican peso, I don't really care, right? Because this is Euro GBP. So I'm looking at these currencies that I'm trading, and I'm looking at the red folder news regarding these currencies. There's a few exceptions on that. If you have the US dollar that's doing CPI or FOMC or some of these crazy news events, most traders don't even trade a whole day when those things are happening. Or NFP or whatever. Like, okay, that's cool. But next to that, you just look at the currency that you're trading. You don't want to trade that news. Now, let's say you're in a trade. You enter a trade, let's say right now, and at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, we have a trade. We have news. Sorry. What you're going to do is pull out your trade 30 minutes to 60 minutes before the news. Okay. That's more of the trade management part that we have right there. So that's very important. And that's also something you'll see in the track record. When we have, for example, a partial win, That was not this one. Yeah, I might go over that in the next one when we have the topic of trading journal. Then I might go over it. I think this one did it. Yeah. So we had a heavy news event right there. So we pulled out an hour before. And that's why, for example, we didn't make 4% on this trade. We made 3.5% because we pulled out our profits a little early. Okay. You never know what's going to happen when news hits. So you don't want to risk it. So that's basically it. Now, then we go to the next part, and the next part is the objective trading system. And the objective trading system is actually what makes it easier to detach your emotions from your trading. And I'm going to try to wrap this up in 5 minutes, but I cannot stress enough how important it is. Okay, I think there's three components that's important, and we're going to talk about it today, tomorrow, and the day after. That's the objective trading system, your objective risk management system, and your scaling system to really scale your account. So we're going to leave those two for later. I'm going to focus on that trading system first. To simplify everything that we've said today, is trading is just about when do I enter and when do I exit. That's what trading is. It's nothing more, nothing less. You know when to press buy, you know when to press sell. You know when to close a trade, you know when to open it, then you're good. In regards of the technicals, right? Now, some people want to make this so complicated that they are looking at everything and whatever and doing crazy confirmations. As you can see, we have 3 steps to go in and a few potential ways to go out, but that's it, right? Because we want to keep this as simple as possible. Your trading plan, or what I like to call it, is your objective trading system, right? Objective trading system. It should just be a system that works and that's proven to work. That's objective. That's basically it. Okay. So there is no room for error. There's no room for confusion. If I look at the market and I see a 2-day pullback, Sven, you will look at the market, you will see a 2-day pullback. We can count candles the same way. Like there is no confusion with that. If you see a dark shade arrow, I see a dark shade arrow. It's not like you see something else. That's what will make it duplicatable so that you can really apply the exact same strategy, put in the exact same trades that someone else is doing. Okay. And let's go over it. How or when do we enter? We enter when there is no news and when we have the dark shade, the 2-day pullback, and the M or the W. There is no confusion about that. Those are the 4 ways or the 4 things we need to enter in a trade, right? When do we exit? Put in the chat, what are the potential ways that we exit a trade? I'm curious to see in the chat. Let's say you hit TP2, right? This is 4% profit. Cool. What else? Pull out before news, right? This is whatever percent profit the trade is at the moment, or loss. It can also be, halfway to your stop loss. Oh, stop loss, right? That's minus 2%. Or, as I see in the chat, break even. That's 0%. Now, there is no other way that I'm exiting my trade. So if I know there is no other way when I enter and there's no other way when I exit, now this is my objective trading system. And I'm just going to follow this no matter what. Okay. Of course, as we know, right? I'm going to just show you guys. In the ebook, you have the sci-fi strategy. I would say read through chapter 6. The sci-fi strategy is continuation strategy, which I already explained. This is basically what breaks it down. You have 3 simple steps. You have protection and target. You have trade management. And then, of course, this can be a handy thing, is we have some no trade pairs. So that's also something you want to note. We do not trade NZD-CAD, AUD-CAD, AUD-NZD, or exotic pairs. The reason for that is pretty simple. We saw the results were less on these plays. But as you can see, New Zealand, Canadian, Australian, that's more of a certain demographic, a certain region where the market is active when we are sleeping. And you will see that sci-fi gives most plays with London Open, somewhere around this time or before noon, right? In the morning, it will give most plays. At those times, you'll see that these currencies are not that active. Because in New Zealand, I believe the bank is not really active at the moment. In Australia, it's probably the same. So that explains why those are not that accurate or not interesting to trade. Okay. And yeah, that's basically it. So I want to give you guys an action step. I like to work with action steps. Some people say homework. My mentor always used to say that and always thought back to school. So I like to say action step. School was not my favorite thing. Okay, but some homework, some action steps, whatever you want to call it, is write down your full objective trading system. Okay, when do you know that you have a full objective trading system? You know that you have a full objective trading system when you cannot bump into any situation that your trading system doesn't answer the question. What do I mean? Let's say you have a break of structure to the other side or whatever. And you're like, yeah, maybe I should go out because now we have a break of structure. Or, Trump speaks, he's doing whatever, and there is news or there's something. And you're like, maybe I should go out, or maybe I can take profit already, or maybe I should do this. We want to eliminate the maybe, because the maybe is the thinking process. But let's be honest, when you're in the trade, you're not thinking straight. And even though you think you're thinking straight, you're not. You're emotionally involved with that trade. So you want to have all the questions, all the possible questions that you can have already answered before you even enter a trade. So now you can just objectively, that's why I call it the objective trading system, objectively execute the system that you've built. Okay? So write this out on with pen and paper, make a PowerPoint for yourself, make whatever for yourself, and really specify, right? I didn't really specify right here, but no news, what you can specify is, which is important, which I also mentioned, is red folder news on the currencies we are trading. Okay, now this is more specific. For example, a dark shade arrow, that cannot be very more specific. That's just what it is. Today pullback is 96 candles on the 30-minute time frame. Now this is more specific. Okay. M or W, a W will give a higher low, and we have a 2-2 rule that should apply. Okay, the 2-2 rule, I didn't mention that earlier, but that's basically pretty simple. Is we want to see 2 candles down, 2 candles up, 2 candles down, 2 candles up. Okay, as you can see, we don't really have 2 candles down that are following each other. We have 2 here, but then we have the crosswalk thing. So that's not really a strong 2 candles down. We do have two candles up right here. Those two follow each other. It's important that they follow each other, right? Then we have only one candle down. I don't really like that. And then we have two candles up, right? So the down legs are not that strong. The up ones are okay. I like to see a minimum of two candles down, two candles up, two candles down, two candles up. If it's more than that, also fine, right? But the minimum of 222 is powerful. That's how you can see it right here, right? I think everyone can see this. We have two candles down, two candles up, two candles down, two candles up. And again, if it's 3, 4, 3, 2, also cool. Oh, let me delete the drawings. And in the ebook, you can also see some of these examples, right? We have 3 candles down right here, at the right here, 4 candles up, 4 candles down, 2 candles up. Amazing, right? So right here, you can see what I mean by that. So now we make it very specific where there is no room for error. Where's my thingy? Oh yeah, here. Now it's very specific because now we have the M or the W. If you see an M and a W, I see an M and a W. Because we need to have the high or low and we need to have the 222 rule. Cool. Now there's no discussion about it. Some people will say, yeah, but I see. No, we all see the same. And that's why we all can apply and we all can learn how to make a track record for yourself that's not just in Notion, but that's in your trading account. Okay? That's what we want to have. A track record like this in your trading account. Not just in mine, in that of Maxime, in that of all the profitable traders over here. No, just in your trading account. Right? And that's basically it. So that's your action step of today. Go and take action with that. Write this down. What is your full objective trading system? I always advise to do that pen and paper. The brain neural connection thing is way better if you do it on pen and paper. But on top of that, if you want to make a PowerPoint, a PDF with some pictures, with some examples, so that you really know exactly what to do, so you cannot make any emotional decisions while trading, because that's why we have this system. Again, I cannot stress this enough. This is just to eliminate your emotional decision making while you are taking trades, entering trades, exiting trades. Okay. And then from there, it will be easier to detach your emotions and to apply the right risk management, which we will talk about tomorrow. All right. Cool. That being said, this should be the longest of the bootcamp because this is really, really, in depth on the entries, the exits, and everything about that. But I hope you guys learned a lot during this session. And I'm gonna stop the recording, I believe. Let me check. How does that work? Anyway, we're just gonna close off the call because I can't seem to find the